thing you need to know. If you're here with me live, get in the chat, say hi. Let me know who you are, where you're from, what you do, what you need. Put some question marks in front of your questions. And if you're watching me on the recording, great to have you too. Resignations. Just want to make sure everything is working here. Resignations. If you don't even like your company and you're going to leave, it's uncomfortable. It really is, right? And if you do enjoy the people you work with, it's gut-wrenching. And there's so many things you need to do. It's not about slipping them a piece of paper and saying, hey, I'm out of here. There's a lot of different things that you need to do and not do. And it's easy to screw this up. And I actually have a short video on the YouTube channel that's quite popular about how to resign with class. And it's a short video with a couple of quick tips. Today's going to be the full Monty, where I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know, how you need to think about resigning, how to do it effectively, and also what to do after you resign. So I'm unlocking the whole playbook. I do have a sample resignation letter, a template that you are welcome to grab there in the chat if you're here, or if you're watching on the recording, you can get it in the description. That resignation, that sample letter, not to poo-poo my own stuff, that's the least important thing we're going to talk about today, because that's the easiest part, is putting the letter together, but I still want you to have the template. Now, you might be wondering, well, where am I coming at with this stuff? As an executive recruiter, I have personally had to handle more than 600 transitions, people leaving old companies, going to new companies. It's been small companies, medium-sized companies, large companies all over the world, people of all different ages, young in their career, midway, and later in their careers. I've seen it. What I'm about to give you works everywhere. And the one thing that I want you to think about too, I want you to remember this, I'll probably say it a few times. You do not resign for the employer. You resign for you. And this is where I think a lot of people get it wrong. On that video I mentioned, there's a lot of people chime in and say, Andy, well, my employer was so mean to me. I'm so happy I'm out of here. I'm not going to give them any notice. I'm just going to leave. And you know, that's what they say about forgiveness, right? It's like drinking the poison and expecting the other person to die. What you do when you leave stays on your record. We're going to talk about how it relates to background checks, references, other things. So you might be thinking, hey, good riddance, but this stuff is important, right? Don't you want to go out with some class? Don't you want to be above that, right? Don't you want to leave things in a better shape than you found them? Right? Don't you want to avoid anything that might surprise you when somebody does a background check? So I want to make sure that you know that. So let's get into the talk, because I have a number of cards here that I want to run through with you. There's 8 points plus the giveaway. I wanted to do this in 5, but there's 8. I mean, there's really 8 things you need to think about. And the first one, you probably don't give much thought to, but I want to talk about this one maybe the longest, is, okay, make sure you want to leave. Please make sure you want to leave. Okay, now, I'm assuming if you're watching the resignation video here or you're with me live, you're employed because you got to resign, because that's what you need to know how to do. Right, except that a lot of people are not, they think they want to leave, but they don't always know they want to leave. And I want to talk to you about what I would do to think this through, but I want to tell you a few stories, because I actually think that you'll be able to relate. Most of the time, people leave because, why? They think the grass is going to be greener. I want to show you something here really quick. I reached out to my community, the Mile Walk Academy community. This is the community platform, and we asked them a question about resigning and what they were facing and what some issues were. And if you look at what Doug said here about, I think a lot of people would be concerned because they think the grass is greener. And he talks about some coworkers that were leaving his organization only to discover that they were, they had it pretty good. And I want to help insulate you from doing something like this. And there was another woman who was in my job search coaching program. This came in about 30 hours ago, And Katie and I were going back and forth about her offers, and she then replied to me and said, it's an interesting story. Really, I followed your boot camp process, and I got 2 offers from companies and positions I thought I wanted to move, but over the course of the whole process, including making a list of the criteria I care about and grading everything, there's a process you need to go through that I want to spend just a quick couple of minutes on. I actually like my current employer the best. And she was measuring all of her options against a standard set of criteria. But the one issue that I think a lot of you face that you don't even know it is you have more options than you think. And I'm talking about before you even actually resign. I want to make sure that you actually want to resign. And I want to tell you a story because this is pretty common. And as an executive recruiter, I would reach out to this guy, Val, super guy, great salesperson. And anytime I had a senior sales position, I called him. Didn't matter if I talked to him last week or last year. I would pick up the phone. I would ring him up. It was always nice to get connected with him. We had a good relationship, and I always wanted to either run by what I had to see if he was interested or network with him or whatever. I called him up one day a number of years ago. He picked up the phone. He said, Andy, oh my God, you're telepathic. You're on my list. I was going to call you tomorrow. You're a mind reader. I said, why is that? He said, well, I really want to get out of where I am. I really don't like it here anymore. I said, well, you're in luck because I have something great that I think you're going to love. We kicked it back for a couple minutes, kibitzed. And after all that was out of the way, he said, all right, lay it on me. I told him, he said, that company sounds great. I've been eyeing them for a while. And I asked him, why are you wanting to leave? He said, I really don't like working with my boss. Okay, so far, so good, right? What was going through my head. But there's one question I always want you to ask yourself before you resign. I've asked every single job candidate this that I've interviewed, period. Not even if I've actually helped them move out of their company, but just to talk to them on the phone and investigate if they were open to possibilities. Every single candidate got asked this question. I want you to ask yourself this question. Is there anything my current company could do to keep me? I asked Val, is there anything your company could do to keep you? Could do to keep you. Could, not would, because naturally what he immediately said, which was what most people say, is, no, Andy, they don't usually give counteroffers, and I haven't really seen that happen, and I can't really think of anything right now. And he said, there's no amount of money that they could give me to make me stay here and work with this guy. And I said to him, that's not what I asked you. I asked you, is there anything they could do? Think creatively. Anything. Just, we're in Andy dreamland right now. I said, you don't like your boss. If they got rid of your boss, we just remove the problem. Would that make you stay? He said, well, they're not going to do that. I said, no, they could do that, right? They could do that. Now the motor's running. Then he said to me, if I didn't have to work for the guy, I said, is there a way that another unit you can go to? He said, well, I suppose if there's 12 sales reps or 13, I'm one of 13. He manages all of us for the U.S. And I suppose if maybe they gave me a territory or split the U.S. and I got to have some reps and I didn't have to work for him, that'd work. I'd stay. I said, okay, we're done talking for today because you generated $12 million last year. The next closest sales rep was half that number, 6. You think they're just going to let you walk out the door. So he said, well, Andy, aren't I going to get in trouble if I go and I talk to my boss's boss and ask? I said, no, not because I'm going to give you the Andy script to do that. So he went back the next day, talked to his boss's boss, and within 10 days, he wasn't reporting to that guy anymore. Just saved me probably what would have been 8 weeks of prepping him, debriefing him, interviewing, all that other stuff. And these are the kind of things where you always have more options than you think. You just don't investigate them, pursue them, or think creatively about them. So I need you to think these things through. Okay, so I'm on a little bit of soapbox here, but I need you to think about this stuff. And so what I want you to do is very simply, what are your requirements? Meaning, what do I want? I've talked at length about this in my premium programs and some videos on YouTube. I got a video out there on how to start your job search in the right place. You can check it out. That's what Katie was referring to. I went through and created my criteria. This is what I want. Then you need to take stock of what you have. Be really clear. I'm not just talking about the dollars, the cents, the vacation days, the 401k, the profit sharing plan and trust and all that other good stuff. I'm talking about everything you actually have. Who you get to work with. Do I get to work from home? Do I get to travel to places I like or never have to travel? Do I have a training stipend that I use? Right? Am I involved in committees and other things that I really like? What do you have? Make sure you are crystal clear. I have a video out there on this. And I also can help you assess through interview intervention if you want to grab the book deal or you want to check out my video on assessing your financial worth. That's a good one too. There's a great checklist there. And then the other thing is think about a counteroffer. And by counteroffer, I mean, would you accept one if they offered it? Right? So is there more money? Could more money solve your problem? If more money would solve your problem, it is better that you do not get into a counteroffer situation, and counteroffers are so important. I want to cover them right now, then wait until the end because we're on this subject. Val, the example, he would have gotten a counteroffer. A lot of people get counteroffers. Now, as an executive recruiter, the entire existence of MileWalk, nay, the last couple of years, I have run a survey out into the market that goes to HR people, recruiters, and job candidates. Okay, people that we know, people that we've worked for, other people that have gotten on our lists when I was a recruiter, primarily, not so much as a career coach. We haven't been running this in the last couple of years, but up until a few years ago, we ran these surveys and we would ask people how they got their job, how long they'd been there, if they ever got a counteroffer, if they accepted it, how long did they let. We had all kinds of questions, and I don't know if this would surprise you. 72% of people who actually accept a counteroffer are no longer with the company for whom they accepted it within 12 months. And 80% of the 72%, okay, I mean, think about this, didn't make it 6 months. Why? I'm gonna tell you. Okay, think about this number. This is all different kind of markets. It's all different kind of companies. What happens when you accept a counteroffer? Well, number one, in the biz, we say, congratulations, you're now an extortionist. And by counteroffer, here's what I mean. I went through an interview process. I got a job offer. I signed the offer. Signed it. Said I'll be there in 2 weeks. Went back to my company, tried to resign. Company said you can't go. You took a counteroffer, had to go back to the company and renege. Okay, that's what I mean. All right, now, I'm not talking about, hey, I'm thinking of leaving. That's not accepting a counteroffer because you threatened the company and they gave you more money. I'm saying you go to them and say, I'm out of here, I signed, I'm going. And they say you can't leave, and you stay. Well, now, think about this. It's cheaper for me to give you 10 or 20 grand right now than try to replace you, right? And I'm not thinking I'm gonna give you 10 grand. I'm thinking let's say 12 to make it easy. Here's your 12,000. I'm not thinking 12, I'm thinking 1. Why? Because it'll take me a month to find your replacement while I still have you here, or 2 months, that's 2,000, or 3 months, that's 3,000. It's not gonna cost me 12, it's gonna cost me 2 or 3. So I can replace you on my own time. You got the scarlet letter, right, on your chest. They know you're a flight risk. Employers do not like to be fired. They take it personally, and it's cheaper for them to keep you at some rate, no matter what it is. And especially if they start making concessions and accommodations and you don't have to travel and you don't have to do the things that are required to actually do your job effectively, they don't think that way. And that's one of the big reasons. So they replace you on their own time. But another big reason is usually you weren't leaving because of the money. And then while their emotions went from in the toilet to high because they kept you, your emotions were high, then they're deflated, you stayed, then you were high, then they're gonna go low again because you're gonna recognize that you didn't stay for the right reason. You wanted to leave for a legitimate reason. You accepted a counteroffer, which was a Band-Aid, and now you realized it didn't matter. Okay, I need you to understand this. Yes, I'm sure one of you sitting out there of the 100 and some odd people or however many are here has accepted a counteroffer and you made it longer. Right, there's still 28% of you that do. But do you want those odds? Do you want to operate under those conditions? Where'd they get the money, number one? And number two, guess what else went up? Their expectations of your performance. If I'm paying you more, you better deliver more. All right, all those are conditions of the post-counteroffer syndrome. So just be really careful. Point number one. All right, now point number two, what do you got to do? All right, here you go, really quick. You need a written resignation. I'm going to go through that in a second. Now, I don't care if you are doing this in person, if you are doing it over a Zoomer, or if you're doing it on the phone. Make sure that you have whatever files you need, whether that's physical files or electronic files, whatever is yours and personal to you, make sure you have control and possession of them. I realize sometimes people put personal documents and things of that nature on corporate drives. I realize you have a lot of work deliverables on the corporate drive, of course, that you might not be able to take, which you probably shouldn't be taking. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about your personal stuff. Any possessions, if you are in control of stuff at work, like you have things, the desk and the books and the whatever, make sure that you have this ready to roll because your planning in your contingency is for the worst case scenario, which is them walking you through the door. And then you want to anticipate their reactions. So meaning, are they going to be surprised? Is it likely that they're going to walk you to the door? Are they going to ask you a bunch of questions, which I'm going to go through here in a few minutes? So this is just the getting ready. Okay, and again, I've got the written resignation template. I already wrote it for you. All you literally need to do is put your damn company name in and one little item. Okay, so just make sure that you are ready. Now you're going to ask me, well, how much time should I give them? Well, before I do that, I want to wish you all a very happy day. I know this is a very, very difficult thing to do, so I brought my smiley face cup with my great Ralph Lauren tea. So if you're thinking about how much time you need to give, it depends, okay? I'm going to give you some rules of thumb. But no matter what I tell you, if you have an employment agreement that stipulates the exact number of days that you need to give them in notice, that's your number. It could be 3 months, it could be 30 days, it could be 15 days, it could be whatever. If you are in the US, and this is a if you're in the United States and you do not have any designation in your employment agreement, it is customarily known that 2 weeks is standard. It is. I don't care who you are. I know you think you're super important, but believe me, they're going to replace you super fast. So don't worry about it. Don't overthink it. Yes, you can massage that. Yes, you can go a third week if you want. Yes, they might kick you out after a week, but just at a minimum, give them 2 weeks. And then if you are elsewhere, in France, you got to give 90 days. I get it. Get whatever is appropriate. But if you are not sure and you live in the United States and there's nothing specified, 2 weeks is the default. Okay? It is. Go with it. Believe me, they can probably get by if you walked out the door right then. But don't do that. First thing is, give them a proper notice. And what does 2 weeks mean? That means 2 full weeks, right? If you resign at 7 a.m. on Monday morning, although I'd rather you do it on Friday afternoon, then it means the following week and the following week in full kind of thing. All right? So just remember that. Now, what do I say and what do I do? Here's what I want you to do. I wrote this out for you in the download, but let's just cover it here for completeness. In the written letter, please accept my resignation, right? My last day will be, I'm happy to perform the knowledge transfer that's required for a smooth transition over the next 2 weeks. Thank you very much. That's it. This is it. It's the whole template. I wrote it all out for you, so don't worry about it. That's it. These are the do's. That's the written part, okay? Do not say in the letter or even verbally why you are leaving, no bad mouthing or where you're going. You don't owe them this, okay? Now, I understand, you're like, Andy, oh my God, he stood up in my wedding. Yeah, I understand. I get that. You can share a little more if you want. But I'm telling you, you're not required to give all this or explain yourself. What the template I gave you is what you should submit formally. Okay, submit formally. And you want to make sure that you are as quiet as possible on these other things. Just stay away. Part of going out with class is making sure that you put the written letter together. You're properly giving them the amount of time that is customary, and you're not doing these things. And you might be thinking, well, Andy, why do I have to do all of this stuff? Well, number one, like I said, the world is big, but the world is small, right? These people that you were working with at such and such a company, they move too. And there have been a number of times as an executive recruiter where we presented a candidate to one of our clients who then immediately noticed where the person worked, went over to somebody else who used to work there, and they said, guy was a jerk. He didn't give proper notice. He left without this or that, kind of left us in a lurch. Now you don't have a job interview kind of thing. But forget that. You might be thinking, well, Andy, hang on, I'm moving to the other side of the planet. I'm not really worried. Well, most employers do background checks hand-to-hand from a corporate resource or contract a third-party firm to call your other employers as part of your background check. Did they work there? When did they leave? How did they leave? Now, employers can say anything they want, contrary to what you might think. Most of them are reluctant to do so. But can you imagine the HR person who then looks you up and looks and says, I don't see a resignation letter and I just see some notes from a boss who said this guy was a jerk? Right, that stuff follows you. Okay, so why not just go out with class? This takes almost no time to put together. I wrote it for you. The least you can do is hand it to them. Right, kind of thing. Now, you're gonna say, well, hang on, they're gonna beg me to stay. Right? Of course they're gonna beg you to stay. Right? You're a great employee. They don't want to lose you. It's cheaper for them to keep you and replace you on their own time. Why didn't you tell me? Well, I didn't tell you because I was quietly looking. I don't know. I didn't think that was appropriate. Obviously, I didn't want anybody to know. I would have loved to, but just in case anything didn't work out, I didn't want to let it be known. I don't really care what you say. There, you don't owe them anything. Wait, can you stay longer? I know you think you're super needed, but you don't. You don't need to stay longer. You need to work faster to get your stuff tied up because you're going to be mentally checked out. Why do they want you to stay longer? They want to ease their burden. What else do they want to do? They want longer to try to persuade you to stay. All right? I'm gonna tell you something about length here in a minute. And then anything we can do to keep you, right? Is there anything we could do? What do you want? Do you want the corner office? You don't want to travel? You want more money? How about more vacation? We'll get you off that project. I'll move you from that boss. Every single one of those is going to crucify you in the short run. Okay, so just watch out. Just say, no, I've made my decision. This opportunity that I'm going to is really great for me. It's not about you. It's about the opportunity for me, right? It's not you, it's me, right? Kind of thing. All right. Now, you probably don't think to do this, but this eases the burden for many people, not just yourself, but for your future employer. After you formally resign, there are a couple more steps. You need to let the employer know, the new employer, that you have officially resigned. Why do you want to do this? I'm going to feel a hell of a lot better when you call me and you say, Andy, I'm so excited to come and work with you. I already resigned. Yes, they were a little bummed out, but they understood. I relax. You're going to come, right? It's done. The tough part is done because I know that these things happen. Recruiters know these things happen. HR people know these things happen. And hiring officials who hire a lot of people know these things happen. They will feel better. They will check the box. This goes for executive recruiters that you are working with as well. If you are working with an executive recruiter, you resign, you immediately call the executive recruiter and you say, everything went well. Yes, you can email the company too. That's fine. But make sure to communicate, it's done, and I'm done, and I held my ground, okay? This matters, because if there is any concern, if I have any whiff that there is a concern, I will not stop interviewing people until your butt is in the seat, okay? I don't care that you're coming in 3 weeks. If I feel that it's not all the way there, like I'm picking up signs, I'm still going to keep interviewing because I cannot be left in a lurch and I cannot stop what I'm doing and then not have you show up, which leads me to my next point, number 8. You might not think about this, but somebody who recruits at a high velocity, has placed a lot of people, have interacted with a lot of people, have coached a lot of people. The further away your start date is from the time you sign the new employment agreement, the less likely you show up for a number of reasons. Okay, what's the danger zone? 4 weeks. If you are outside the 4-week mark, you're on thin ice. Okay, let me tell you why. All right, here's what happens. I signed a contract tomorrow. It's Friday, right? Or maybe you're watching this on a Tuesday, whatever. Either way, I sign it. Now I resign same day. I give my 2-week notice. I take a week off to wrap my head or push it in the sand or whatever. All right, then you show up. You're okay. If you start going out by 4 weeks, you go over the 4-week cliff, the odds you do not show up go up exponentially. These are hardcore stats talking. All right, now, how do you insulate yourself from this? Well, if you get into this issue and it's 4 weeks, what's happening? Why is it taking 4 weeks? Company wants you to stay longer, right? You're not sure you're hemming and hawing. Maybe you got other interviews going on, right? Well, I'm not going to wait an entire month for you not to show up, and then, right, I'm going to be at a loss, and my pipeline's going to go cold. So I'm going to keep interviewing, and if I can get somebody to start sooner, and I like that person just every bit as much as I like you, I'm going to take that person, and I'll see you later. All right, so what do? Number 1, you make sure you let them know, I've resigned, I'm coming. If you are in the 3-week zone or the 4-week zone, you make sure you say, can we have a touch point? Can I meet you for coffee, dinner, lunch, breakfast, a Zoom session, a martini? I don't care what you do. Just make sure you have touch points with them at minimum 1. Okay, if you are hitting into the 4-week stretch, 2 probably. If you're 2 weeks, it's just 2 weeks, I would probably have a checkpoint after the first week. Everything's fine. I'm still rolling. Everything looks good. I'll be there. You just don't know how frequently this stuff happens, where people don't show up or they take somebody else. What other video have I showed you out there where I talk a lot about this? How to get the job after being rejected. Why do I say I want you to go out with some class at the end of your rejection, once you're notified, and then follow up in 30 days? Because of this. This stuff happens a lot. The person doesn't show up, or they showed up and they crapped out, or a million other reasons. This is really important that people don't think about numbers 7 and 8. They really don't. Actually, a lot of times you don't even think about number 1. So I want to make sure that you do that, and I want to wrap it up with grab the sample resignation letter. I made this part easy for you. So let's just recap it real quick. Just make sure, just make sure, number 1, you go through the process. You make sure you know what you want. You make sure you know what you have. You make sure you've thought through if there's anything that they can do, and you're all set and good. Get ready, written resignation letter, pack that up. Make sure you think through, get your files, get your possessions, okay? Now, make sure you give them 2 weeks notice or whatever's appropriate. Don't go on my YouTube channel and put in comments there on Annie, well, that's ridiculous. No, I'm telling you, that's what's standard. And if you live somewhere else or you sign something that says differently, just do that, okay? All right, what I say? 4, say this. Please accept my resignation. My last day will be, I'll be happy to do the knowledge transfer. Thank you very much. What not to say? Don't talk about why you're leaving. No bad mouthing. Know where you're going. Do not let them pressure you. You do not need to succumb to that. Anticipate this. You do not need to answer these questions about, why didn't you tell me, or what can we do? Just stay away from all this stuff. Make sure you let them know after you officially resign. Make sure you let the new employer know, and make damn sure you have a checkpoint, a get-together. They see your face. They see you smiling. They know you're looking forward to it. Ask for homework. Ask for getting ready stuff. Do some work in advance. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that, and make sure to grab the template. All right, hey, while you're here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you like that, click the like button. Make sure to share it, because a lot of people need help. A lot of people resigning, right? There's a lot of transitions these days. All right, if you're watching me on the recording, I'll see you next week. If you're here with me live, we're going to the chat. I see some bombs right there. How'd you guys like that? Was that pretty okay? Oh, and you know what? It would have been good. It would have been good if I was in the right Slack channel. Do you guys love this mug? My wife got it for me for Valentine's Day. I love my wife. I miss her every day when she's at school. All right. It's not you, it's me, Geraldine. That's right. What do we got? Who's here? I got to say hi to who's in the house. Adam Stark, great to see ya. Michael Moore, always nice to have you, my boot camper. And Christine Martin, great to have you. Geraldine, you know I love you, and all the stuff you put into the Mile Walk Academy. I'm sending you good, huge Andy vibes on your search, and all my boot campers and my leaders on your career development. Deb, great to see ya. Raphael, what's up? Hope things are okay out near you. Sending good thoughts to anybody anywhere near the Ukraine. I know that's just, boy, something else. Andy. Jim R, Damien, Stacy's got my back. Laura O'Brien, great to have you. Suzanne, Heart 316. Let me get to some questions here and some announcements. Next week, I moved the live office hours slot to Friday because we're doing a special skill building session. And I'm going to unveil for everybody some detail that I unveiled for people in my leadership, my premium coaching program. And I'm going to talk about how to set yourself up, skill building, what you need to learn, how you need to learn it, my skill building methodology. And I built a leadership assessment. It's a cool 75 question assessment and a bunch of other things to help you develop an action plan for building your skills. So it's really going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to show that on Friday. And then I got some lessons on habit building and some other stuff, productivity stuff over the weekend. And then we start the productivity challenge on Monday, March 7th. So anybody who's in my leadership program can come to all 5 Mondays in a row of that as well. So it's really, really going to be a lot of fun. I got a lot of really good stuff coming. All right, let me go into the questions. Adam, thank you for that. It's an Andy video where there's lots of like before the video's even started. You know I show up early. I always look to see who's here. All right, wait. Let me see. What do you got here? Let me see. All right. 70% reply rate with boss hunting. Okay, so that's great. But mostly getting nothing available replies, had 10 info interviews, and it's the same. Been boss hunting for 3 months. I troubleshoot and keep consistent, but still no joy. Any advice? Yes, just keep going. I'm serious. Like, you're doing all the right things. It just takes one. So if you got a 70% hit rate, that's great. Just because you're not hitting the right thing doesn't mean you need to adjust anything. You guys know, like most of you, well, I hope, are on my email list. And what's my closing signature? What do I always write underneath my name? Put people first, results second, right? So I was thinking, I was on the plane. I'm coming back. I was traveling a couple days ago, and I was trying to think about what else do I need to tell these guys? Like, how do I communicate these kind of messages when I get a question like this? And you're doing the right stuff, Adam. It's measure actions first, results second. So just swap the put people first, results second, and swap it out for measure actions first, results second. If you are doing the right things day in and day out, I don't have any advice for you other than when you get the reply, then you need to reply back and continue on with the networking. Is there opportunities? Is there anything, that you know of? Give them some options to pinpoint where you want them to network you into. Can you keep me in mind? Are there other divisions? All that stuff I want you to continue. That's good practice. But if you're getting 70% hits on boss hunting, I don't know how much I could tell you how to improve that rate. It's just a matter of being consistent, and it only takes one. So that's what I would tell you there. Focus on your actions, which is what you are doing, and you are getting, those actions that you are taking are actually leading to great results. The final outcome isn't occurring, but that's a matter of consistency. So I don't know what to, unless I'm sitting there with you, looking at what you have, it's difficult for me to tell you to do anything differently. I think you're doing the right stuff. You just haven't gotten the hit yet. But I'm pulling for you. All right. Make sure to grab that resignation template because you're all going to need it with those new jobs. All right, Hart, what do you got? Raphael, as you're current interviewing with multiple companies, do I send an email or phone call? Are you saying you're interviewing with multiple companies and you want to communicate to them that you are interviewing with multiple companies? It depends. If that's what you're asking me, it depends. I've covered this in your program. It's how to handle multiple job offers. That's the video you want to watch inside the boot camp. And when you are early in the stages, what I say is use your head. Use common sense. When you are interviewing, you don't have to email everybody every time you have a quick session. If you're interviewing with a company and you got a meeting with them in a week and you just started interviewing with another company, when in the natural course of your communications with them, you're going to talk to them in a week, you let them know. If you're getting down to the end and, hey, the offer's coming through and I don't know if it's coming Wednesday or Thursday, then you need to alert them. Then you need to call them and say, hey, I want to let you know, or I want to let you in, and it depends on email or phone. It might be, I want, hey, call us if anything goes wrong, or at least give us a heads up. I don't have a problem with you emailing the recruiter saying, hey, like I mentioned with you last week, I was interviewing with this other company. They've informed me they want to give me an offer this week. I just want you to have a heads up. You can email that, or you can call them. It's up to you. It depends, but where you are in the process determines the level of frequency in which you communicate with each of the employers. If all of them are getting down to the end, you're having a lot more interactions. But you can email or call. It depends. It depends what you're like, hey, the offer's coming, I want to let you know. Not a big deal. You can email. Hey, I got the offer. I really need to talk to you because it's pretty good, and I want to inform you that it's really high or whatever. Then you might want to call, right? So it depends what you're communicating. Let's see, and you clarified further down, and my trusty partner in crime, Kara, is letting me know that you met with VP 2 rounds with others coming up, and now another company came up this morning. No, I wouldn't. It just came up. So you let them know when you talk to them. Not sure if I will meet with the VP privately. How should I communicate? Email. No, I would see if you're going to meet with the VP privately. If not, you could pull him aside. If during the session you could say to him, hey, I just want to let you know something else popped up. It's early stages. I mean, just use your head. You got this. You got this. How you doing, Anna and Ann and Lena and my boot campers right there. Roxanne with the heart. I love hearts from South Africa. Angela, my boot camper, how you doing? Good to see you. And TD Washington, what's happening, my boot camper there too. All right. Anthony from Nashville, great to see you. And what's the good word here? Going out with class for yourself and following Andy's process. How do you know if the employer denotes your resignation was done with respect to them? Okay. And great question. Their interpretation of you leaving is nothing you can control other than going through the actions that are proper and reasonable for you to do. What I just outlined, those 8 things, that's proper and reasonable. If they don't like it because you left them, that's their problem, not yours, because they won't like it. Employers take it personally, right? They just do. So I would not worry if you do what I mentioned, and look, I know you a bit, right, through the programs, right? I can't even imagine that anything you would do could be misconstrued that way. The fact that you're even asking me this question tells me the kind of person you are, and that you care about that, right? Like you would want to do this respectfully. So I would not worry. If it is about checking the boxes, and it is about being reasonable in what you do and say and communicate and explain. So I would not worry. I would not worry. Just go through the steps. Go through the steps. Great question. Roxanne, yes, you should have been here 3 minutes before the show started. When my little boy dog, he has these routines. And I know that every day at 5 o'clock, I have to stop what I'm doing, or really 5:03, because he's got the Lammy in his mouth and he will bug me until we go and we play. So I stop. Except now it's been happening in the morning. Now it was happening right before the show was about to start. I literally took them upstairs and put them in the crate, and they were barking like crazy. They did not want to be in the crate, and I was afraid you guys would hear it on the microphone. So I ran up there and I had some words with them, and I think he finally sacked out. So yes, adorable he is. I think he's pissed that I was gone on and left him. Traveled a few days. All right. Geraldine, come to me. Andyland is like the best place. I am like just one walking ball of fun. Ask my wife, she would tell you the same thing. Yeah. Michael Moore, FYI, I routinely write my resignation early in my employment. I keep it in my desk. When it's time to go, I sign it and turn it in. Having that in the desk drawer reminds me that I control my destiny. I like the symbolicism, or the symbolism, I should say, that it serves as a symbol is great. The one thing that I do like to put in that I gave you in the template is that it's nice to insert one thing you were especially thankful for. And if you write it early on in your employment, you might wanna update that. But I love I love that. That's pretty cool. Fix It Fox. It's a good word. What do I say to a recruiter if she asks me my salary on the phone, and I know that my salary is way below average for my experience, position, and performance? Okay, great question. Obviously, I want you to take in my salary negotiation videos. I cover this in how to address it. It makes no difference if your salary is low, mid, or high. It isn't about what you earn today. It's about the value you're going to contribute in the job you're about to take, if you ultimately take one with them. And so, number one, I don't know where you live or if it's customary, whether it's in your country, if you're in the US, or if you're in wherever your country is, or particular state or city. If you are in the US, there are a lot of laws that will not allow them to ask that question. Now, I have always been of the opinion, I know that not everybody agrees with this, I could tell you down to the penny what I earn. I could literally say, here's the sheet. Here's everything. Here's my salary, my bonus for the last 3 years. Here's my 401k, my profit sharing plan and trust, my vacation and how I consider it, all the deposits, all the flexible spending, all the this and that, and give it to you. And it wouldn't make one hill of beans of difference to me that you know that. That's me, because I think that is irrelevant data in what I'm about to negotiate for me in my new salary. And in many instances, you can use that information to your advantage. And I actually have a video out there on how to do that, and on my YouTube channel, on how to tell them the information to use it to your advantage. But a lot of people say, well, geez, that's just terrible advice. I got a video out there from 6-7 years ago when it was proper, not just proper to tell the employer what you earned, but in fact required, and employers would not move forward with you until you disclosed your compensation history. And people, on the YouTube channel, it's a popular video, and they say, well, that's a bad advice. You're a terrible coach, and this and that. I get that every day. And I laugh because no one takes a look at the year the video was put out. No one ever considers that I might have more updated insight into this or how I would feel at the moment. But even if I feel differently about it today, I would still say to you, the information they have about what you earn should not have a bearing on what they offer you or what you're willing to accept. If they let that bear on what they offer, then it's incumbent upon you to prove why you're worth more. Okay, so that's the way I look at that. And that's the way I approach it. I would not, I did a coaching session last night, okay, with Al. Al got a new job. He got a new job last June, and he and I did a coaching session, and he got a $60,000 pay increase. Al and I had a session last night. He got another $42,000 pay increase. He's making 110 in total more than he was 10 months ago. I'm telling you, my email's flooded with messages from people doubling their salary, 70% increase, 90% increase. And there's a lot that has to do with that. Some were underpaid. Some were in jobs, and they were just suppressed financially. Some, it was a COVID weird thing. Some, it's just the employers are crazy in what they need to pay people right now in order to get them because they can't get enough people fast enough. I don't worry about this. You can, if you're in a spot where they're requiring you to do that and it's okay for them to ask and you want to tell them, you can simply say, here's what I earn. I believe I can contribute more value. That's one of the reasons I'm open to changing out of my company. And what I earn today, in my opinion, will not factor into how much I feel I'm worth. And I'm sure that if we're right for each other, we'll figure that out. And I'll show you through the interviewing process what I'm capable of doing and contributing. And that's it. And then you go. I hope that helps. I know I kind of rambled there, but these are, it's confusing. I get it. Believe me, I'm empathetic to that. Damien, you're welcome, my friend. Hope you're enjoying that leadership program. So wait, speaking of different programs, this book package is going away. We're quintupling the price on this packet. It's $7 now. I'll send this book to you anywhere in the world. You get the ebook, the audiobook. You can't get the audiobook anywhere but through me. The ebook itself is $9 on Amazon. And this book is $29 or $30 on Amazon. I gave you an extra ebook called How to Interview the Employer, 75 Great Questions to Ask Before You Take Any Job. I think that's $27 on the site. $7, I'll send it to you anywhere. And I think next month or month after next, it's going to be changing. And I think the digital package alone is going to be $19, and I think the book is going to cost more on top. So grab it while it lasts. All right. Maya, I read somewhere that most resignations are due to the behavior of the employer's direct manager. You might have read that in my book. In here, it says 4 out of 5 people quit their job because of their boss. I suspect it will always be that way because people quit people before they quit companies. So when we survey all of the job candidates that we interviewed as a recruitment firm, so when I would interview them, so I'm on the phone or I'm in person with them asking, why did you leave that company 3 companies ago? I didn't like my manager. Great. How about the next one? I got a better opportunity. Fine. Why are you looking to leave this one? I don't like my boss. That kind of stuff. I don't like the strategic direction the management team is taking the company, or I'm not learning anything new. Top 3 reasons. That's statistics. So you are correct. Actually, folks, what you might not know is the opposite. The analogous is true. What do I mean? Well, while 80% leave because of their current boss, an equal number overstay because of their relationship with their current boss. So, meaning I stayed so long because I felt so connected and I loved working with this person and I was going to miss him or her or them or whatever. And so I stayed well past my sell-by date kind of thing. Michael Moore, your counteroffer stat does not surprise me. I'm skeptical of counteroffers. Great companies don't make counteroffers, right? They have succession plans. They wish you well, as they should. That's what they do. If you accept the counteroffer, you're in trouble. How you doing? Cherry, what's up? Oh, that's Scarlet Letter. Tinkerbell Lace, good to see ya. Wait, this little beauty is... my wife bought it for me because I was too cheap to buy it for myself. There are certain things I won't spend my, $25 on, like that mug. All right, let's see. All right, what do we got here? Michael, I understand no bad mouthing or where you're going, but in exit interviews, it's common to ask why. It is. You don't have to say anything in an exit interview. Should I still have something prepared? You can. I wouldn't. When they ask me in an exit interview, my answers would be, I love everything about this place. This is not about you. It's about the opportunity I have. You got to be a fool to give them anything in an exit interview. Don't do it. I don't care if they know you're upset. It doesn't matter. No good can come of that. None. None. And in that case, I do want you to protect yourself. You might think, well, it's important for me to let them know so they can improve. You're out of there. You're leaving for a reason. Okay, here's what you got. Chance of that hurting me in a bad reference check or wanting to improve them. Chances of that hurting me in a reference check or me wanting to improve them. Which one are you going to choose? That's a rhetorical question at this point. Ernest, hey, how you doing? And what else we got here? Sliding on down. Like in a breakup. It's not you, it's me. It's true. Can you map getting a job with resigning a job, and is it somehow the opposite? I'm not sure what you're asking there, Harold. I'm not sure what you're asking there. Rico, resign with notice, but on short notice as of day of, it's been difficult time acquiring another position. I don't think they're connected. I think I got that. Let me just see. Love the mug, yellow shine. Hey, Lynn Sue, how you doing? Lynn Sue. Schnell, thank you. Wado from Hawaii. Be ready. Great to have you. You are welcome. Yeah, my dog is cute, but he's a little whiny lately. Kareem, what if the manager asks for clarifications about the resignation? I have a great opportunity. I can't pass it up. That's it. You do not owe them. I must know what Geraldine's digital marketing strategy is. Maybe we need to hire you as a consultant. You want to do some work with us. Daryl too, I have been following your advice and landed an interview today and asked questions you mentioned. Awesome. I think it went well, but it was 30 minutes. So it was a little rushed. Well, that's okay. Sometimes 30 minutes are, quick screens are good. Harold, onboarding versus offboarding. I need a little more detail on what you want to know. Nina's mom, Andy, I landed my dream job and start March 7th. Yay! Well, hopefully you can still make the productivity session that day. All thanks to your resume writing class, interview intervention book, and all your wonderful videos and advice, I was offered more than expected. I love this. Nina's mom, thank you so much for your attention. I know you show up at these shows, you ask me questions. I know you're working the process. I really appreciate that. Your attention, it might sound trite, but it is truly the greatest gift anybody can give you. I hold it dearly. I appreciate you. I'm so happy for you. I really am. This is why I do what I do. So can we all give her or Nina's mom a huge shout out and a big congratulations? And for anybody who is dialing up new jobs, I give you a big shout out. I'm really proud of you. I know you work hard. The fact that you show up to these things or watch them on the recording says you're spending time investing in yourself. That matters. A lot of people don't do that. So you should be proud. And I'm proud of you, Nina's mom. I hope everybody else gives you a high 10. All right, Daryl, to you. Should I mention that in the thank you? She said they were growing and hiring quickly. How should I address it? I'm not sure. I think should I forward it? I'm not sure what. Sorry. You're talking about the 30-minute interview. Should I mention? I would not mention anything about anything being rushed if that's the only thing you're asking me. I would just send the thank you template and massage it for your situation, but I would not mention anything about it being rushed or anything like that. All right, asking for clarification. I think I got that one. Manuel, how are you? A big fan of yours. Thank you. I have been watching your channel for a month, preparing myself to succeed. Awesome. You got a question? I've been offered I think that's you. Wait, hang on. I've been offered the position that I was searching for. It's my dream job. Awesome. But they want me to relocate, and I can't because I would need to move the whole family. I really want this job. And hang on, I'm losing this. Hold on. And want the job, and the company promotes it as remote friendly. However, they want me to relocate, although the idea is to work 2 remote days. Do I negotiate this the same way you advised on how to negotiate a better salary? It is one element of your whole compensation program or package, if you want, and I would negotiate it the same way I negotiate everything else. However, you have to decide if you do not want to move, then you have to negotiate whether they would let you work remotely. Could you negotiate staying home? Look, first off, you got to understand why they need you to relocate. I don't know what you do. I don't know if you need to be in an office. I think aside from like manufacturing things, and even that's becoming less common because you have robots, very few people need to be in an office. Yes, I understand camaraderie culture and fostering teamwork and all that stuff. You'd be hard-pressed to find a high percentage of jobs that actually need to be in an office. So I'd be wondering, why do you need to be in an office? If it's, well, we want you to build relations and this and that, say, okay, can I come there once a month and work with the team, or once 1 week for a month or whatever. Like, there's always something you could work out. You remember what I said early in the package, you have more options than you think. So yes, you can negotiate that. But then you have to decide if they insist that you be there, then you either need to take it and move or you need to let it go. John, how are you? I love my boss and coworkers, but hate the organization. Should I give my boss the heads up that I'm looking once I get closer to getting my next job? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No final answer. The only exception would be, hey, I got a job. I'm out of here. Okay. Would you be a reference if you need that person to be a reference and you had that kind of relationship? So, I mean, I would not be ever mentioning that. All right, wait, hey, if you're loving this, click the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Don't miss next Friday. So good. No one's seen my leadership assessment, and not even my leaders have seen it. They're all going to get it, and the leaders have all the answers. All right, here we go. Kelly Lopes. It's the good word there. Love the glasses. Andy, I had 2 interviews with a hiring manager and direct reports for a senior manager position. We'll be interviewing with the top boss of a department today. Any advice? Kelly Lopes? Heck yeah. Here's one piece of advice. Then I want to refer you to a video about how to interview with senior executives or senior manager. How oh God, Stacy, help me. The one about and I know Kelly's not a junior person, but was it how junior people interview with senior staff or something like that? Kelly, I have a video out there it's a short one about what to be ready for in these situations. And not only do I want you to watch that one, but I also want you to watch my executive level interviewing video. It is quite possibly one of my 3 favorite videos I have ever created. It's 20 minutes. It's super, super fast. I know it's 20 minutes. It's really fast. It's really filled. 12 tips that you gotta smoke. All right, but the one tip I wanna give you right now is when you go in, okay, so because Kelly described it, right? I interviewed, I talked to the hiring manager, and some direct reports. By the way, I have that video on how to interview with people you will manage. That's a 3rd video you can check out. But the thing you need to be ready for is if you're going into to the top boss. When I was the top boss and I would interview somebody, after everybody else interviewed that person, that interview started with, what questions do you have for me? And you need to take me the whole way, right? Like, don't run out. I have no questions for you. What questions do you have for me? Because at that point, number one, I can tell more about you, about the questions you ask me, than the way you answer my questions. Number 2, I have faith in the staff that I coached to interview you effectively. I'm going to let them deal with the details. And so by the time you get to somebody, that person should just be cream on the top of the cake, right? And so you want to make sure that you have enough questions to go an hour or whatever it is, however 30 minutes or 45 or an hour or longer. So that's my advice there. Hey, Kara, if you want to collect those resigning questions and shoot them to me, that's cool. Let me keep going down. What would be your advice on informational for an informational before applying for a job? Any must-ask questions? Mari, yes. This is going to be short. Because I have a video on this too. I have a video on the channel about informational interview. Oh, Stacey, don't link them in there. I have a video on the channel about informational interviews. Go watch that. The one question that I want you to ask initially, so 3 stages here. Number 1, for all of you, I have an informational interviewing video on the channel. Check that out. Number 2, for Mari, when you get into these informational interviews, the must-ask question is one of the first questions, if not the first question you need to ask the person is, what challenges are you facing right now? What are the obstacles to get to your goals? What are those? Right? And the reason you want to surface that is because you want to be able to explain how you would fix that, because that immediately connects the dots for how you would be valuable to them immediately. That's the bullseye. Now, 3rd layer here. If you are in the job search coaching program, are you in luck? Because not only do I completely dissect the informational interview, there's a whole session on it. I take you through not only what to do and not to do, I give you the actual agenda, literally meaning if you are going to an informational interview, this is the agenda, because you can control it. You get to control the informational interviews. I give you every single step, all the different things and the way to go through it. I tell you what to say, what not to say, and then I give you the template to answer after the session what to write them in the wake of the discussion. This is nowhere in the public domain. I would not put this out there anywhere. This is the kind of stuff that comes with the premium program. And if you're interested in the premium program, email us at support. Kara's got this thing about giving discounts whenever anybody asks, because she's got a soft heart for everybody, as do I. So if you're interested, get in, because that price is going up. So get in there soon. All right, and Kara is typing. So let me see. Okay. Oh, okay, nice. Jan, love this. Hello to you. Could you please give some guides on how to negotiate salary when transferring internally, lateral move, but the scope of the work and responsibilities will be much larger than now? Yes. Okay, so first thing, wouldn't you know it, I have a video on pay raises and how to negotiate those on YouTube. Go check that out. What you are doing when you are moving internally, you are looking at the scope of your responsibilities. It doesn't matter if it's a lateral move. A senior manager here and a senior manager there might not get paid the same thing. They don't do the same thing. They're in different units. There's different value. Okay, so you need to recalibrate what you're going to earn based on the value you're going to contribute. So you need to look at what is it that that you are going to add over and above. That's one element. The second element is based on the future projects that they're hiring you to do. That's what you get paid for. You need to focus on those. You guys, do you get this concept? What you earn on a given day has nothing to do with your past and everything to do with your projected future. I'm paying you a salary to do something now. And when I give you a new salary of any kind, that means this is what I'm paying you to do in the future. Yes, it might be a function of things that you accomplished in the past. But when you make your arguments, the arguments are not about what you've done, it's about what you will do. Now, the new projects you're going to be on, those have a different layer of value or a different level of value than what you did. And you need to also add in, this is a specialty case because Jan is moving internally but not doing the same job. Do you offer more in the way of value because you know the company? Meaning, does it make more sense to hire me because I'm an internal candidate that understands our company and I won't have the learning curve and so on? That's worth paying more for, not less, right? Like, and what does the company say to you? Home field discount? You say no. Home field increase. Because if I don't take this job and I stay where I am and you have to go and you have to hire Andy to do it or somebody who's not here, they're going to want more money. Paying to leave, and you're going to pay them more, and they're going to be slower to start because they don't know the company, right? Those are the arguments you're going to make. But there's a number of things that I go into. And if you're in my leadership program, Jan, I don't know if you are in my leadership program, there is a very, very detailed session on negotiating your salary increase if at your company, your pay raise. Very detailed with all the scripts. All right, hope that helps. That's a great question. Schnell, is it a bad sign if they do not give me enough time during an interview to ask my own questions? Yes and no. Let me give you both. Number one, I don't really care, me. If I'm interviewing, you're interviewing me, and I get a chance to ask any questions, I really don't care. I don't. It would be nice if I could ask them, but my job isn't to ask questions in an interview. My job is to sell myself. Can I sell myself by the questions I ask? Heck yes. But I can sell myself even more by the way I can show you what I'm going to do for you. So if you want to take the 60 minutes and you just want me to talk and you want to ask questions and you just want me to talk, I'm good with that. In fact, I'd prefer it because I don't really care. My job isn't to get my questions answered. Yes, I'm interviewing them too, but I have the whole process to interview them, not this one time. And if I'm all worried about, well, do I have enough time to ask my questions and they only gave me 2 minutes at the end, I don't think that way. I think I got the whole time and let me get them to fall in love with me. And then if I run out of time in the interview process, not an interview itself, I will request more time with whomever I need to get my questions answered, okay, asked and answered. Because if I focus too much on trying to get my questions answered, and I'm worried and I'm not paying enough attention to making smart responses and those kind of things, they could eject me earlier from the process, and then it's a moot point, right? Because you don't need it to know anything because they're not giving you a job offer, right? Okay, that's my philosophy on that. Now, yes, better employers will give you a chance and will give you quite a good chance in each interview to make sure that you can ask questions. So I don't think it's a good sign or bad sign. I think it depends on who you're talking to. If it was a screener and the screener said, hey, Chanel, you know what? You should go talk to Andy about a lot of that stuff. He can answer a lot of those questions better than I am. Okay, great, fine, right? If you're getting down and you're talking to a hiring official who you're going to work with and that person's not carving out some time, that's not a great sign. But if I say to you, Chanel, hey, this is great. I know I didn't really give you a chance to ask a lot of questions, but I'm not too worried about that because you're coming back and we're going to spend more time together, right? So it's situational. It's situational. But if you get down to the end and they say, hey, Chanel, we want to give you an offer. You cool? And you say, well, I still got some questions. They're going to say, okay, what are they? You know, but don't email them. Don't email them. You always want to talk them through. Hope that helped. Iman, it's a good word, man. Iman, it should be, the resignation template is hot off the press. And well, you can grab it right here, or you can grab it now in your boot camp. I'm sure Kara dumped it in there. All right, how we doing on time? All right, let me see if I can get some more of these in here. Oh, look at this. I got Drew and Jerry right next to each other. Two of my favorite guys right there. Love it. When turning down an offer as opposed to resigning, what recommendations do you have? I would still be interested in working at the place I am turning away. Folks, can I show you something right here? I wish this guy would have his handsome face there. But Drew Summers, that is a damn good question, and I thank you immensely, number one, for asking it, because it's great, and it's great food for these guys. But number two, you see what he did? I would still be interested in working at the place I'm turning away. So now I know exactly how to tell him how to handle it, as opposed to, hey, there's 3 responses I would give him depending on if you want to work in that unit, if you want to work at that company, if you don't want to at all, right? All these scenarios would need to be covered. I'm only going to cover the one he needs right now. All right, you go through the process, meaning you made it. They're giving you the offer. You say to them, all right, now, I don't know exactly why you're turning it down, but let's just assume it's not the right role for you because you like the company, you do want to work there. I would say something like this. Options. Say, okay, look, I love you, right? I love this company. I would like to work here. After going through this process and really getting to know what it is you want me to do, at this moment, I don't know that this is the right role for me. And it's a great role. I just don't think it's the right role for me. Now, if you're going to go down that path, because remember, you want to work there, you want to make sure, so pause the role play here for a second. You want to make sure that you are ready for, well, if we change the role, what kind of role would you want? You need to have that answer ready, okay? So it might not be the right role for me right now. There are a few other things I'd like to do, meaning I'd like to have as part of my responsibilities. And I'd be open to discussing if there's any way to either augment this role, that's if that's a possibility, meaning for you, Drew, or if that's not the case, I'd be open to, if you feel based on my background, I could be effective in supporting any other areas in the organization because I really love this company. I like you and all the people that I met. It's just this specific role, right? So it's not personal. It's about this role. So then it becomes a question of, okay, if we change the role, would that work? That's an option. Is it, Drew, that you don't want to do that role because it's not enough money? That's a different issue, right? That's solvable. Both are solvable. Or, no, that's the way the role is, and we really appreciate that. I say, look, I would love for you to contact me if there's any other opportunities in the organization that would allow me to do this or these kinds of things. And then you lay that out. That's okay. And it would be best if there were some communications along the way where they knew that there were some shortcomings in the role. Because you were all gung-ho, yay, 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 and you get down to the end, and then all of a sudden it's like, nah, not for me. But if I was dropping, hints that, it would really be nice if I could expand or do that, or is there opportunities that role could be global as opposed to domestic or whatever, you know what I mean? There's some hints along the way. So one thing you didn't ask me, but I'd like to tack this on for everybody. How do I know when to bug out, right? Okay, Drew took it the distance and he wants to turn this away. But how do I know if I'm in the interview process, if I should quit? And the only time you should quit is if you absolutely do not want to work at that company. Okay? Meaning there's no way, no how, I don't care what they do, then it's, I'm out of here, I don't work at this company. If it's, I'm not really sure about the role, you take it the distance because you could do, number one, what I just said, perhaps they augment the role or change it or cut some things out you don't want. Or they love you so much they got to have you in the company, they might create space for you in a different unit. So that's the way that I feel about it, because the more time you have interacting with them, the more connected they become to you, the greater the likelihood that they will massage something at the end. All right, that's a great one. That's a great one. And now I'm looking at Jerry, and I was hanging tight from a buddy, Jerry, and all he wanted to tell me was the weather here is paradise-like. How do you got? You can't see my lake behind me? Can you look over the chair? That white stuff is on top of the water. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh God, no, man. Well, also you only talk about the doggy. What about the kitty? I don't have a cat. I have 2 dogs, and the dog had a lammy in his mouth. I have a boy dog who's 16, gonna be 16 next month. I don't know where he is, and a girl dog who's 14. Oh, you ain't gonna see me for a year when they go. It's gonna be too heartbreaking. Ah. All right, Simon, this is a good one. Should I take to my boss? Should I take to my boss before I hand him the resignation letter, or just talk to him with the letter in my hands? So wait, this is a great question. This is a great question. This really is really a good one. If you are, obviously you are, you're with your boss, and the way that I do it is I bring it with me. I keep it so I'd have it like in my portfolio. I wouldn't pull it out, and I'd say to my boss, "Hey, I have, I have a resignation letter to you. I can email it to you and HR, and is there anybody else I should send it? I also have a signed copy. If you want that, I could give that to you now, or I could, hand it to you later, or whatever. It's okay, but you should have it. I would have it. That's a great question. I probably missed mentioning that. And then Wado, hope you're enjoying that community platform, brother. How and when do you inform your coworkers? Email on the last day. What do you say when they ask where you're going? Okay, great question. Actually, this came up last night. I had a coaching session with Al, and he was asking he asked me the same question. So I'm the kind of person that if I was leaving the place, I would send everybody a message. Like, I wouldn't leave and not communicate. I would thank them. I would tell them and gush all over them and how much I'm going to miss them. And it depends how many people you're sending it to, but I personally would send it to everyone individually. If you want to send it to a group, that's fine too. There's no right answer here. Okay, it's personal preference. It's the strength of your relationship. It's how much info you want to. And if you could, what I would do if you were concerned about how much to disclose, you could say, I'd love to get your personal email address or your phone number if you don't have it. If you have the personal email address, you can just say, or send it to the personal email address initially, or just say, hey, I'll follow up with all of you individually, and share my details and whatever, if you want to do that. Anything is okay. I believe that if these are people, same mud, same blood, all that stuff, I would send them a message. I would call them, I'd hug them. That's what I would do. That's just me. And so there's no right answer there. I didn't want to get into all that in the talk because there's a lot of these are very good questions that are very specific to your situation. Fix it, Fox. You're in the U.S. and this is a state where they can't ask. So just tell her. Just tell her. It's not a big deal. Go watch my video on when to disclose your salary. Doug Milligan. Hey, man, that was you up on the. I think you and Selena had a good. Selena had a good one. Good one too. And that was good. I think I do want to talk about Selena's here. I'm gonna take Doug's right now. If I resign from a company with class, because you're a classy guy, dude. Come on, man. Can't trust the company, wouldn't badmouth you. Hey, man, that you can't control that. Saying things that could hurt your chances if contacting suggestions to address with the hiring company. No. With the hiring company, you just say, I did resign. I gave him the letter. I gave them the notice, this and that. I did everything, by the book. They were hurt. So if you're going to call them, expect them to be hurt, because losing Doug Milligan is crushing. That's it. Don't worry about it. You can't control that. You're not, believe me, employers get that. Like they can calibrate for that stuff. I wouldn't worry about that. Actually, there was one other thing in the Selena. There was in our the new Mile Walk Academy community is so awesome. We're rolling it out again next week to another. We're rolling in more people into it next week. So I'll share that with you in a minute. Selena was asking in the community, I'm feeling that anxiety right now is I'm waiting for my background check to clear at a new job before I submit my resignation. The nervousness comes from not wanting to give feedback of why I'm leaving. You don't. Selena, Stacy will send you to go directly to the live office hour show at 1 hour and 20 minutes in, and I would not say why I'm leaving. Say it's a great opportunity for me, and that's it. But I know, she says, I know my coworkers are pushy enough to keep asking. I don't want to give any hint of dissatisfaction, and I would not. Just say, no, everything's fine. This is a great opportunity for me. That's it. That's it. You might want to return someday. So that's what I would do there. Don't. Hold your ground. You're tough. Come on, I met you in person. You're a toughie. Let me see, we got anything else? Let me give you a couple of quick announcements here. If you don't have this guy, grab it, please. While it's not supply, so I just ordered thousands more of these, except the price is going up. So I want to make sure that you can grab this for $7 instead of $28. Okay, so that's a goodie. Make sure to show up next week. Friday. Actually, we've got a wonderful video on Tuesday about how to position yourself in 2022. It'll be March 1st, and I kind of doing a March reset kind of thing. And then on March 4th, that's Friday, so a week from tomorrow, I've got that skill building stuff, and it's pretty cool. And I got an assessment that I'm going to be rolling out that will be free. And then there's layers of freemiums and premiums that you can use. So I'm so excited about that. At the bottom on the chat, Cynthia, hi Andy, can you give me more details that you had on resume writing workshop that you offer? So we have a resume writing workshop. It's a $297 course, and it has everything that you would need to write a resume. There's 4 major sessions to it that teaches you the psychology of resume writing, and then each section is broken out: the career profile, the highlights, the professional experience, and then the other stuff. And if you're interested in it, you're welcome to email support, and we'll see if we can give you a break on the price a bit. But it comes with all the assets. Believe me, it will hum when you're done with it. By yourself, you can write this, because even the template is structured out. The Word template is structured out, and I explain everything inside the template as well. So it's really good. We have a content builder. We have some other stuff. So email us at support@milewalk.com. And Kara is telling me to mention the podcast link on the site. So you know what? You know what? Let me. I can pull this up really quick. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I used to have a podcast that I ran, every week, and the podcast is still in existence, and you could watch it anywhere: Amazon, iTunes, Google Podcasts, FM Player, iHeartRadio. It's everywhere. And we recently are reintroducing it because there are some things that I want to do and communicate to you via the podcast in a format that I want. And I know a lot of people have been inboxing me and DMing me and all these other things that say, Andy, when are you going to have, can't you do the podcast again? And so all of this will be on the Mile Walk Academy site. You can get it, anywhere. Like I said, any Spotify, any of your favorite, podcast apps. It's there. And if we have the audio like this for any of the videos that we do, we'll also have them on the blog. But it's my intent. It's my intent that the podcast, it's not just going to be audio from my weekly videos. There's other things I want to share with you, and that medium is a great format to do it where I can just talk to you. And we will be pulling your questions from some of these shows, which is why I always say, ask me your questions even if I can't get to them. We comb the chats. In the community, we will be looking at that. The other thing that might be nice to show you, this is a great sneak peek. There are a lot of you that are in our community that what we've done so far. This is a new community platform that we are rolling out. My Team Apollo group, which is a portion of my leadership group, we've been piloting this thing for 6 months. And then we recently brought in people in my job search coaching program that we call boot campers, and other people in the leadership program. And so what we've done is it's a highly active group. There are mastermind collaborations. I can explain more about what those will be. And there's the premium collabs. So people in the boot camp and people in the leadership program have their own section. And then there's the Team Apollo has its own collaboration group as well, which is really sweet. But we have these special interest topics. So some of these are by location, some of these are by program, but those are people talking to each other. And then there are different topics that you can jump in on. And so what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be rolling this out. There's a whole bunch. I'm actually going to be putting in some of my meditation stuff here and productivity stuff here soon, but it's really a cool, it's very searchable. It allows you to interact with each other in a private messaging format, in a group chat format. You can link each other with your social sites and all that stuff if you wanted to. You can upload videos, audios, pictures, whatever you want to do. And so what we're going to be doing next week on Thursday, in fact, so it's replacing live office hours. If you are a paying member of the Mile Walk Academy of any kind, if you buy this book right now, you will be invited next week to get into this community group. It's really good. It's different. We're going to be shutting down our Facebook group and our LinkedIn group. All of our community stuff, and it's been active, is going to be in that platform. So if you own the resume workshop, or you own the interview intervention course or collection of courses, or the mini camps, or all this, you'll be getting a notification. And then we're going to have a meeting, a Zoom session next week to demo all this for you. We'll give you a chance to get your profile set up, and that's going to be on Thursday. And if you can't make it, that's okay. The replay is going to be available to those people. And so that's kind of the next wave of people that we're rolling into this. It's real. I've been so happy with the interaction. There's a lot of great communication, a lot of people sharing with each other, and that's what we want. So we knew we could do better than we were doing in the Facebook and LinkedIn groups. And I just want to have a more active community. And the fact that this, I can't get over how I was getting bombarded in trying to find the stuff in Facebook. I kept getting interrupted with ads and other things that I didn't want. It was total noise. I couldn't figure out where the heck I was going. And so we took control of it, put it on our own platform, and we're rolling it out. It's been successful. And if anybody's here that is enjoying it, give it a shout out and let the people know. It's really been helpful. I'm really proud of these people that are in there. They're really interacting. It's really, really good stuff. So, all right, on that, I got to get rolling because I got a lot of stuff to build for you guys. Do me a favor. Don't miss next Friday. It's really jamming. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then I got some lessons, Saturday and Sunday over the weekend, and then we start the productivity training on March 7th. If you're interested in getting in the leadership program, you're going to have access to all that stuff. So definitely let us know. You know where to find us. And if you need job searching help, hey, if you need any help, just email Kara at support@milewalk.com. She loves email. so much. Okay, you guys, I gotta roll. Hope you enjoyed the resignation stuff. I'll see you soon. Have a great weekend.